Okay, so hi, I'm Jaclyn. I go to Maryland. I know you actually went to Maryland too. I'm an animal science major. I'm care and management, and I'm a senior. So that's a little bit about me. Um,
Awesome.
yeah. So I guess you can introduce yourself.
Alysha, I did go to University of Maryland. I did the same program, the Animal Science Care and Management. I graduated in December of 2012 after completing the program.
So cool. I didn't. When she told me that you were an alumni, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
No, I love
So it's the Maryland Equine Dental. You got it. Okay. So I guess I could start asking you my questions. Okay. So what are your biggest responsibilities in your job?
Okay, so I'm an equine dental technician. So the biggest responsibility is the health of the animal and the care for their teeth, of course. I do the dental side of things. Customer service is a big part of it as well, just because you need to respond to the people as well as the animal and take care of everyone.
Got it. So do you do like mostly dental checkups or it's more like emergency type like
Typically scheduled appointments.
yeah.
People call in usually for maintenance. We typically recommend horses get their teeth done once a year. There
Mhm.
are times when horses aren't eating well, and you try to get out there sooner, the next day if possible, depending on where they are. We can usually make it work.
Got it. So you go, do they come to you and you go places?
I just go places, so I don't
Oh,
have a facility set up here. I just travel to different farms and I work that way.
that's cool. It's a lot of work, but I'm sure it's cool. Okay. So what made you want to become a dental technician?
Well, I've always loved the horses and animals. I knew I wanted to do something with animals, so it did take me a while to figure out what exactly. Um,
I agree.
I was mostly through Maryland, and kind of by accident too. Honestly, I did an internship through the University of Maryland where I worked on a gated horse farm,
Hmm,
and the dentist came out to work on the horse's teeth, and I thought that was pretty awesome, and we went from there.
that's so cool. Did you ever want to be a vet? Because I know I want to be a vet for a while, and then I was like, it's too much. Like I feel like it's too much schooling, and I don't know. It was just a
It,
lot for me.
yeah, it definitely is a lot. I considered it, but by the time I was done high school, I knew that it probably wasn't going to be for me. A
Yeah,
lot to do with the financial responsibility of that school and how
definitely.
expensive it was.
Yeah, got it. So like it was just so that one time made you really want to. That's so cool. I wish I have worked at zoos in the past and like with wildlife and I like that's kind of how I did it. I'm kind of narrowing it down based off my work experience and seeing what I like best. So I tried to do like every different animal field kind of and then see what I'm enjoying. So
Yeah, no,
I
that's a great way to do it because you
yeah,
know that you love it when
yeah.
you go.
Hopefully it'll work. I'm a senior, so I should know what I'm doing soon.
You got time still.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could tell a college student looking to get into your field of work, what piece of advice would you give them?
Part of what you actually said already, just being able to find someone to shadow under,
Hmm.
and see if you like the job, get into it, and see if it's for you or not. You also have to work on your social skills in school because a lot of it is selling yourself. You have to do a good job too, but you have to get the work first. So being able to talk to people and get yourself in order to do the work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's work experience is definitely the most important. And I mean, grades and stuff in school is important, but I think work is also really important. So I guess going off of that, like, what are the steps that you took to become a dental technician?
I did a lot of on the job training after I got my bachelor's of science from Maryland. So I worked on that gated horse farm doing the internship. The dentist came out and kind of just offered me a job on the spot a little bit. I was
That's
still,
lucky.
I was still doing the gated horse farm work, but then I worked at a lab animal place as well,
Mhm.
which was cool. Was not for me because I don't do office controlled environment conditions. I like to be out and about.
Me
Uh,
too.
so when the dentist offered me a job, I had unfortunately only been working at the lab animal place for about 3 months, and I had decided to leave to
Mm,
go with the dental stuff. There is some extra schooling and stuff, like a certification you can get, but on the job training, honestly, the number one, because the schooling's only a couple of weeks, and they do a mix of power tools and hand floats. Our company only does the hand floats. We do work with a vet practice that can use a power tool if necessary, but 99.9% of the chance their hand floats are great.
yeah.
Um, and honestly, in most states, there's not much schooling and regulation involved. Like Maryland and Pennsylvania are the two main states I work in, and you can just be an equine dental technician. You don't have to go through any extra steps. I do know Virginia is a little more regulated, and I believe you have to be under the supervision of a veterinarian there.
Got it. Because I know, at least for veterinary technicians, there's some states that you need a license to practice and some you don't. So I was curious if you guys needed some specific type of license or something.
State
Does,
by state. Mhm.
yeah, does like, I guess just having a license, is it like is it like an advantage? Like if you were to get a job like somewhere, like would they think it's better if you had a license?
A lot of being an equine dentist is going to be opening your own practice. So you're going to vet yourself. A lot of your customers will ask sometimes. Some ask, some don't, whether you have that certification or not. Again, you have to be able to sell yourself,
Yeah.
make sure they're comfortable with you. I do work for another company. I'm the primary equine dentist now.
So
The guy who owns the company semi-retired. So he didn't really care that I had no experience. He taught me how to do it, and sometimes that's what people prefer, just teach you
yeah,
their way.
got it. That's awesome. So what do you like best about your job?
That every day is different, and I get to go out and about. Again, like I said, I'm not an office person. I don't do well
Yeah.
stuck inside. So I love being outside, going to different barns. I travel all over Maryland and Pennsylvania, and even go a little further sometimes. So I get to see some nice backyards, and then I get to see some really high-end barns. So it's cool to see the variety and see what different people's ideas actually helped me out when I was planning my own barn, because I got to see everyone else's stuff. So
That's awesome. So do you have your own barn? Do you have your own horses?
I'm working on it. I just bought my very first horse 2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
that's so awesome.
Yeah, so I just bought the property. I got the horse before the fencing. Whoops. So now I'm working on getting the fencing in and got my barn design in mind. So
That's so exciting. What breed of horse?
he's a paint.
Oh, that's so cool.
Not registered, just a good old horse.
Wait, I do want a horse in my future. So
Yeah.
I know
Mhm.
it's a lot of work, but we'll see.
So
And
I,
what do you
mhm.
think you like least about it? I know that it's hard.
Yeah, there's not really a least necessarily that I like. I love doing the job.
Mm,
You do have to keep in mind a couple things, so I'll mention those. One is scheduling and talking to people on the phone. So
yeah.
you're out at appointments, you want to get back to people as soon as possible, but you also, if you're at a bar, you don't want to be ignoring people and on the phone 24/7. And then there's the financial aspect too. So we usually bill people at the time of appointment and they pay then. There's a couple times we'll do boarding facilities where the owner of the horse didn't leave a check. And we'll still do the horse and just bill, but we got to make sure that that ends up coming in the mail. Also, keeping track of all those things. And again, if it's your own business, the tax end and stuff like that too. So you got to keep in mind of all the things.
How much is a usual like yearly checkup for a horse?
We charge 65 a float, and that's all inclusive. There's no farm call, no extras for anything like that. So
Okay, interesting. So my next question. So do you use your education like daily? I'm assuming.
definitely at the horse management side of things, communicating with the horse is very important with what we do. We're directly in front of their faces, so you have to work with them. some horses are a little more nervous, some are a little more willing, but you have to be able to communicate with the horse. And that's something I definitely started learning in school.
Mhm.
And then just the communication and scheduling aspect that you get through college too, learning how to schedule your life and get everybody set.
Got it. Did you take any like specific horse classes in college? Because like I'm in horse management right now, so I actually just learned today. We went over some dental side of the equine industry, so it was actually kind of funny because I was like I'm going to interview my person.
Yes, I took a couple of classes with Dr. Burke,
Mhm.
um, the horse management, and then the next level side up was the equine science, I believe it was called,
Ye-
or equine something like that, but two specific
Yeah,
horses.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. It's such a cool. Unfortunately, we can't go to the lab as much this semester because of everything that's going on. But we were able to go 2 weeks ago and actually do a first like hands-on lab. We do like one a month, and it was so. I mean, I enjoy working like you said, like going out, like and actually doing hands-on stuff instead of just sitting in the classroom. Or now I'm on Zoom all the time in my room. So, yeah, that's so cool. But it's cool to see that you also did like the same path and wound up where you are.
Yeah.
Mhm. So what does the typical day in your job? I know you went over like some of it.
So there's not a super typical day because
Mhm.
every day is different. Like today, for example, I had the morning available to talk to you,
Yeah.
and appointments start at 1 o'clock, and I'll be out until probably about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight.
Um,
Um, and a lot of the scheduling depends on the customers. A lot of people think you got your own business, you set your own hours.
mhm.
That's not true. You have your own business, and your customers set your hours. So it's a lot of Saturdays and Sundays, days other people are available, evenings. So it's not the typical 9 to 5. Some days I will go out. I'll leave my house at 6:30 in the morning and get home at 9 o'clock at night.
Crazy.
But I and I can do one farm of 20 horses one day, and the next day I can do 6 different farms that each have one horse, and you just kind of try to schedule in the area, keep
Yeah.
everybody there. We are lucky in that in the wintertime we do two large breeding farms. So that's their slow time, which keeps us busy in the winter. We can
Mhm.
go out and do 50 head a day and then be done.
Crazy.
So,
So you said you do like try to schedule it so that you're around your like other appointments because I feel like that would be a lot of traveling like in between each appointment.
typically, so if somebody calls, let's just say from Westminster, then I try to schedule the people in the similar area that day, and then people up like northern PA is where I'm going today, and then I kind of make a path on my way back home. So I hit stops on my way back. It doesn't always work. Sometimes I end up in like an hour and a half away, but if somebody needs the appointment, they need the appointment.
How far have you driven for an appointment? Like, what's the furthest?
We do a couple up in just over the New York border for a big breeding farm that's based out of Maryland. And then we do probably the most typical is I go down to Southern Maryland, which is about 4 hours for me.
Wow.
Unless apparently it's COVID and there's no traffic, because then 4 hours is only 2.5 hours.
Oh,
So that's a little annoying that it only takes 2.5 hours in reality, but
yeah,
around the Beltway traffic, it's
a
4.
little positive in this time. The traffic is better.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the most common dental problems that you encounter? I know you do like mostly checkups, so hopefully there's no like extreme. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's.
Yeah, so typically just the sharp edges, or not just, but so floating off and keeping everything smooth, putting in bit seats if the horse is riding, and making sure they're comfortable from year to year to eat. Um, we do see a lot of young horses, especially at like Penn National Racetrack. We do the thoroughbreds up there, or some of them, and they have a lot of baby teeth coming in and out, so pulling caps. And then if you get to a farm, and there's older horses' teeth, they typically their teeth continuously grow and erupt until they're about 25 or so. They start out like really long, and then by the time they're 25, there's not much root left, and they can fall out. So getting the old rotten teeth out of there too is another thing we do.
So what happens when is there ever a case where they just lose all their teeth and it's just they can't eat?
I have seen, I think my oldest patient was a 43-year-old pony. He had 3 teeth left in the back, but he really loved his slop that he drank every day.
Yeah.
And he looked great with 3 teeth in there. I always saw him every year and messed with him a little bit, but there wasn't really anything to do, so I never charged the owner for it.
Oh my God, that's crazy though. It's so like so old. Crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
And mules can get even older.
wow. It is, they're amazing. They're crazy animals. Um, okay, so what is the most interesting, cool story you have?
Well, there's lots of cool like teeth things as far as the work goes, but a couple like other things I've gotten myself into just through the work is I went to the Frederick Fair once to watch the standardbred racing, and we sponsored a race there for them.
Mhm.
And we actually got to sit in the gate truck or gate
Oh,
car.
yeah,
So we started a race, and we watched the standardbreds racing behind us as we pulled off. So that's pretty cool.
that's
Um,
really cool.
and then I did a couple horses for Amish family once, and the young boys took me out for a drive after I was done floating their horses' teeth.
That's so cool.
He had a ball laughing at me because I ride, I don't drive, and he handed over the reins, and the horse was all over the road. And he said that after its teeth were done, it should go straighter, not side to side. Of course, it was my fault and not the horse's, but it was fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's, I feel like since you go many places, you have like a bunch of cool experiences. I actually, when you said the racing thing, when I was, I went to watch some horse racing, and I was just standing, me and my dad had been standing by like the, literally just like the gate, and this guy was like, oh, like, who'd you want to win? And we like said the horse that had won. And it was before that they actually raced. And I was like, I think this horse will win. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And he wound up winning, and it was his horse. And he brought us out into the winner circle. Like I was like a random, like me and my dad, we were just standing there like randomly, and he brought us in, and he was like, you guys can take a pic, like we have a picture with them in the circle. It was so funny, so random, but yeah.
Cool. And that's the good thing about the job. You get around so many places that you get different experiences. Um, Another thing I wanted to mention before, I think, was that when you are starting out your own business, going to like horse shows and stuff like that is great because you get to talk to so many people.
Yeah,
Even now, like if I know customers at a show or something, I'll show up and say hey and encourage them and stuff like that. That's another good part about the job.
yeah, that's cool. I feel like it builds like relationships once like
Yes, definitely.
connections. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so that's my end of my questions. I think yes.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. All right. Hopefully this helped out. And if you ever have
Yes,
any,
thank you. I like, you were so good. Like I was so happy you got back to me, and I really appreciated how like well this was set up and everything. So thank you.
no worries. And if you're ever interested, just email me again. We might
Oh
be able to.
yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.